Hi, my name is Kim.
I'm Brad.
We're 626 Ohana, California, and today we're going to be talking about Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Also known as the
Poly.
So this is the third video in our series of pros and cons of the resorts.
Different resorts at Disney World.
So please like, subscribe, and follow along with our Ohana, and we'll give you any tips and tricks we find along the way.
Okay, so we started out before doing Wilderness Lodge pros and cons, and we did a Animal Kingdom pros and cons. I will link those down below for you to watch.
And we always like to start with cons because we like to finish with the pros. We want to end on a happy note.
Exactly. Nobody wants to talk about the bad and end on that kind of footing. And we're also going to talk about the last few days. There's been this announcement that there's going to be a Moana overlay to parts of the Poly. So we'll talk to you about our feelings at the end.
Okay, so let's start with the cons.
So for DVC, the cons is they only have studios or the really, really expensive bungalows.
Yeah, it's sort of either you have this or this.
It's like value versus I have to sell a kidney to stay there.
Yeah, and there's nothing in between. Although we are owners at the Polynesian Resort for our DVC contract, and we absolutely love it.
So I'll start out with saying when we talked about DVC in the long run, we went back and forth. As soon as Disney announced that they were going to have the Poly as part of DVC, I told Brad, that's it, we're all in, we're going. The Poly I fell in love with from the first time I saw it and didn't get to stay there until a few years ago. And that was from high school all the way till a few years ago. So.
And we've never stayed in the bungalows, but I've heard they're absolutely gorgeous inside. And
bucket list.
And the thing with the studios is that with our family, we usually have to get two because my mother-in-law, Kim's mom, likes to come with us. So it puts us into where we have to get two rooms.
We could all be tight in one room, which is fine. But considering my mom and Brad being in a short room like that, it would be too close comfort. Mm-hmm. Just because, son-in-laws and mother-in-laws don't usually share the same room.
And so another negative con would be there is no washer and dryers in the DVC studios.
Yeah, it's a bummer. They still do have them in one of the buildings, and it's still free of charge.
So yeah, with the no washer and dryer, it makes going from building to building, especially, a little difficult.
Yes.
It's nice having them in there, but they just don't have them in there.
Right. Okay, so talking about the rooms, for the DVC rooms, because we've actually never stayed in the guest rooms before. We'll clarify that first.
And please put down below, any comments below if you have, and what do you think of the regular guest rooms at the Poly?
That aren't the DVC studios or bungalows. Mm-hmm. So the one thing with the Poly is, as a DVC resort, they're one of the first rooms to, like the Disney cruise, where they lift that bed up and you can store your luggage underneath. And there's 5 people in the DVC studio. There's not a lot of room for all that luggage. Yeah,
there isn't. And really, when Kim's brother came with us to Disney World, their pet room was so packed.
There was 5 of them last summer. So my brother, sister-in-law, their teenage son, and their 2 younger kids. And so they were comfortable, but had they been staying more than they stayed 5 nights. Had they stayed more than that and brought more stuff, it might have been even more crowded.
Or bring the amount of luggage you bring.
And I don't know what he's talking about.
And that's the thing is usually you only get about 2 suitcases underneath the bed, and then you have a coffee table, I believe, that opens up.
Yeah, the lift up ones.
But the rest of it, you're kind of putting all the suitcases against walls, so you kind of lose a little bit of storage. Yeah. So as far as storage, the luggage storage is kind of tight for everywhere, and then there is a small kitchenette in there with a small fridge, which is fine for us.
Yeah.
And there is some storage for food, but there is just not a whole lot of food. It's not like the full-size kitchens at DVC rooms.
Some DVC owners like to cook in their rooms. We don't.
Yeah, and you're only going to get a microwave, coffee pot, and refrigerator, and the
mini fridge.
So if you're planning on cooking big meals, unfortunately, the Poly bungalows for a DVC would not be your
cup of tea, maybe.
Okay, so let's go on to the next thing.
Okay, we're going to talk about Spirit of Aloha. First thing is the outdoors. So if it's winter, it's really cold and it can be raining. If it's summer, it is really humid And it could be raining.
It's Florida.
So sometimes we all get up and we make these advanced dining reservations, and we put a lot of time and thought into them. And then if there's bad weather and they have to cancel it for the safety of the performers, then now you're left scrambling to maybe find something to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, every time we've gone to the Spirit Aloha, we have never had this issue.
Yeah.
But there's more to the Spirit Aloha.
We like the show.
Yeah, the show is
It's corny,
fun.
it's slapstick, but it's great.
It's great, and it's a lot of, you get learn some culture about different islands, which is fun too.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing is every time we've gone there, I have a food allergy.
Yeah.
And every time I tell them I have a food allergy, they know about it.
They have to bring a separate plate. And last time our cast member...
Well, actually, the last 2 times, they kind of made it a really big deal.
Yeah, it's the only place on property with Brad's allergies that they made a big deal out of.
Yeah, both times they made it seem like it was hectic for them to do or hard to deal with, that they didn't want to deal with it. And quite frankly, last time we got there was even worse. I got my food cold.
And then they wouldn't come and refill our drinks. And Hayden had his chair turned out to watch the show, and he wasn't in the aisle or anything. But our cast member actually came up, and I was so mad I never said anything about it, is she actually picked up Hayden in the chair and physically moved him. And it was only by, maybe from me to Brad, not that far apart.
Yeah, it was really close. Everybody looked at her.
I know. I should have rationally taken a breath and asked to talk to the manager.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was just... I think that was the last time we'll go to the show. Because the few times we went there, that is the way with my allergies been treated.
Yeah.
The way we were treated last time, it's
left a bad impression on us.
And that's the only thing that I really wish Disney would have done better.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Next thing it would be Trader Sam's. We love Trader Sam's. Wait, it's not a negative, but there is a negative to Trader Sam's.
The size.
Yeah, it's really small. And the waits, especially on weekends, are insane. Sometimes you could be waiting on that list for 3 or 4 hours, or not even get a call because people won't leave.
Yeah.
Well, we love going in there, so staying there. But
I don't blame them that they don't want to leave. But that's a kind of a con. It's too bad they didn't double the size. I know Disneyland we have that problem sometimes, but here at Walt Disney World was such a long destination. They should have doubled the size.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I kind of like Florida's version at Walt Disney World's. Trader Sam's better than Disneyland's.
Yeah, but I won't complain about Disneyland's.
Okay.
I'd still like it.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And unfortunately, this is anything that's on water, you're going to have this issue.
Yeah, so it's not just necessarily to the Poly, because the Wilderness Lodge has this problem too, but the boat horn sounds sometimes can wake people up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's if you sleep in, we stay on California time when we go to Disney World because it allows us to stay up later.
Yeah.
You'll get the big boats, the paddle boats, the ones that go.
Yeah, you get the ferries for the ticket and transportation center. Plus, you get the ones that go from just the Poly over to
the different resorts,
to Grand Floridian or over to Magic Kingdom. I don't have as much of a problem with it because I always wear wax earplugs. But Brad and Hayden don't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it wakes us up every time. As soon as we hear their first boat going in the morning.
That's him.
We know we're up.
So my tip is the wax earplugs work really well, but he refuses to wear them. So that's just us.
So the other thing that is a problem with the Poly, and it's gotten us several times, is when it rains.
It's all outdoor walkways. It's not covered from the rooms to the lobby. It's all outdoors. So if you were like at Animal Kingdom, you're never outside when you're from the lobby to the rooms, or what's another one? Or even the Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, you're all indoors.
Yeah, unless you're staying at the cabins at the Wilderness Lodge. But everything else is covered. The Poly is not covered. If you're walking from the lobby and you're all the way out in one of the farther out.
Pago Pago is one of the buildings that's way out there.
It's not that far out.
Well,
no, that's the closest one for DVC.
For DVC, but you're still not going through.
Yeah, so if you're in one of the buildings that are farther outside and you walk to the lobby and all of a sudden the sky is open, as Florida tends to happen.
And it always seems to happen when we're going to get our drinks refilled because we don't bring our umbrellas at that time.
Yeah.
And you're going to get drenched.
Not the biggest deal in the world, but I will also say one thing I've noticed, and this is just my observation through time. So if you were to go to Disney during a hurricane, you happen to be there during that season, or you evacuated to Disney, the problem staying at the Poly would be the outdoor walkways. because then you'd have to stay in your room or the hallways in the buildings. And if you stay at something like Animal Kingdom Lodge or Wilderness Lodge, you can walk the whole resort within the lobbies and stores and things.
Okay.
So let's get to the positive.
Yes, no more rainy.
No more rain.
Okay, so one of the first positives is with the DVC rooms, again, as like we said, we stayed in DVCs, is you got 1.5 bathrooms.
Yeah, so the first bathroom has your traditional toilet, sink, shower, tub combo. And the second one has a sink and a huge shower.
Walk-in shower,
Yeah. With a rain, what are those called?
Rain can.
Yeah, the rain cans. I love that shower.
Yeah, that's a great, and it's actually works really well for us because Hayden and Kim could be taking that shower at the same time.
Different showers.
Yeah, well, obviously, but
We could each be showering in the different showers, and 2 people can be getting ready at the same time.
it does make it a lot easier to get ready for bed at night and everything else.
Or in the mornings.
Or in the mornings if you take.
Getting ready to go. So it's great. It's it's a really added bonus for a studio, and they started doing that when they built the Poly, and it was really amazing.
And then they got also, well, I guess it's a Murphy bed. Is it really?
It is. It's a Murphy bed.
No, it's a sideways Murphy bed.
So it's like, it looks like a cabinet underneath the TV, and it pulls down, and it has a nice Lilo and Stitch kind of fun.
Yeah, and the great thing about that bed is, the Lilo and Stitch artwork. The great thing about that bed is I actually can lay in it. To let you know, I am about 6'2", and I do hang over a little bit with my feet if I really stretch out, try to, but really, I've taken naps on it. So it's a great bonus to have, and it folds up, it's out of the way, and that's great.
Actually, the only problem is with those is I could see kids fighting over it because it's really great.
Yeah, I got a little light switch. I mean, it's like their own little room area.
Yeah, it's cool. They did a great job on that and maximizing the space for as many people as they could fit in a room.
Another pro is the transportation options.
Yes! You've got either the boats to Magic Kingdom, or the monorail to Magic Kingdom, or Epcot, or you got the buses.
Yeah, and it's actually not too bad of a walk to the main transportation center. So you can go to the monorail for the Epcot or to the other boats. I mean, there's a lot of option.
Right.
The buses, well, we've never really had any issues with the buses there.
Well, the only problem with the buses we've ever had is when we try to go Typhoon Lagoon because it's farther out.
Yeah, but other than that, the buses seem to run fairly often. I don't have any complaints there. That's one of the first times.
And actually, they seem to have more spots for people to sit when they built that transportation center for the buses there. So kudos to Disney on that one. So we love the fact this is one of the resorts, only place you can really get a Dole pineapple whip at Pineapple Lanai.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to go out there, get a pineapple whip and just sit there. Only problem is they do close a little bit earlier.
Not too bad, but I'll tell you what, on the days that we leave, when we have to go home, our travel days,
those snack credits keep just coming right up for Dole Whips.
Yeah, we always enjoy a Dole Whip before we go to the airport, and it maybe takes away a little bit of the steam, but it's kind of nice because you have to sit in the lobby and wait for your Tragical Express, and that's kind of a nice treat to have while you're waiting.
Another thing that was a positive, we said it in the negatives, was about Trader Sam's, but Trader Sam's, we love Trader Sam's.
We do. That is our thing. Hayden likes to go back, relax. You know, he's a teenager now, so Brad and I can get out and enjoy a
couple of drinks.
Yeah, a little downtime, a little tropical atmosphere, and Disney magic at Trader Sam's.
2 shots of rum. If you've been to Trader Sam's, you've been to Trader Sam's, you understand it. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. They did a great job at Disney World. We definitely can be found there a time or two.
Another thing we'd like, and we've done this several times, is the Ohana breakfast.
Yeah, so they do a character breakfast. They have Lilo and Stitch and Mickey and Minnie, and they have a fun parade for the kids. They have their what do they call it? It's like a jungle juice, like breakfast drink.
Well, I'm gonna call it jungle juice.
Well, it's not. It's no alcohol. It's like
It's a special. It's a juice that they mix, and it's really good.
It is amazing.
So
and they have Mickey waffles, but they also have little Stitch waffles. They're really cute.
Really, the breakfast there is really good. With my allergy, I've asked, make sure, and they had no issues with it. Everything's been always great.
It's just a fun time, and it's a different atmosphere, and everybody's having a good time, and you get some character time without waiting in line at the park, so that's a bonus.
And hopefully they'll come back soon.
Yeah, and Mickey and Minnie always had their tropical gear, their wear on, and that's fun.
Yep. And so another thing is we're going to talk about is the pools.
Yeah, the pools are great at the Poly. They have the lava pool, which looks like a huge volcano, like you would in a tropical area. And they have a fun little slide. I don't know if it's really little. They have a fun water slide. And so it's a really great place. And they have the barefoot pool bar, which was really great.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never been into the pools themselves. I kind of walk by them, but the pool bar is actually good. It's a good alternative if you're waiting for Trader Sam's, is to go out there and have a few drinks out there because they have similar menus.
It just has a tropical vibe to it. It's nice.
It's relaxing.
Yeah. So the other thing is they do have a quieter DVC Oasis pool, which is kind of off to the side. Usually not as crowded, and it's open a little bit later. So that's always kind of a nice alternative if you don't want to be in the hustle bustle of the lava pool.
Okay, and so from there I think we go to
Captain Cook's, the quick service.
Yeah, actually that's a neat area. It's kind of small.
It is.
But they really have a good menu.
They do, and they make some really good like Hawaiian pulled pork nachos that I love.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I really enjoy eating there when we eat there. Only thing is to be aware of, it is small inside, so the seating is very limited.
It can be, but I think the only time we've really eaten there, we've gotten it to go. Either out to the pool, or we've gotten it to wait in the lobby while we're waiting for the Tragical Express. Somehow we end up eating a lot while we're waiting for the Tragical Express. Probably because we wanted to maximize our park time, and we didn't eat when we were in the park, so we eat right before we go. You could have Captain Cook's, or you could have airport or plane food. So that's easy. I'm gonna say next is Kona Cafe. I like Kona Cafe. They have sushi there, which is always a bonus in my book.
I've never eaten there.
Yeah, because Brad's allergies, so he usually...
It's a little bit too much, unfortunately.
Brad's allergy can be so much as to where he touches what he's allergic to. The food he has touches, and it gets to be really problematic.
It's not that bad, but it is problematic if I had something that came in direct contact.
Right, that's what I mean.
Mixed in.
Right.
And that does happen at some places that it's a possibility.
Disney tries hard, but Brad has such a severe reaction that he doesn't even want to attempt it.
Yeah, so I haven't eaten there. I've heard it's great.
Yeah.
Kim loves it.
Yeah.
And
it's great because it's just it can be a quicker table service.
Yep. Okay, and so from there we go to
Tambu Lounge, which is upstairs. They have the Lapu Lapu. I have not had one. I have heard that can knock your socks off. I've always kind of wanted to try one. I don't know if I've been brave enough to try one because I don't usually. I know we like to go to a lot of places and hang out in atmosphere, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we indulge a lot.
Yeah.
And I've heard those are pretty strong for the size, but they come in a pineapple.
Yeah, when I see people walking around with pineapples, they came from Tambu Lounge.
Yeah, the Tambu Lounge, and sometimes they're swaying a bit.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a cool, it's a chill
It's a really neat vibe, and the reason we really know where it is and everything else is because when you go to Ohana, you walk right past it.
Yeah, and also, the stores up above, which, and you walk in from the monorail, you walk by, and so it's just kind of there, and it's a cool little place.
Okay, so from there, I think it's go to some outdoor activities.
Yeah.
So if you really want to, you can rent a boat.
Yeah, boats are really kind of cool idea. We haven't done it.
No, but they're right there. It'd be easy to go ahead and rent. And I believe they have a catch and release fishing with a guide.
It's like an excursion, so it's an extra tour.
So that's something to be aware of. If you really want to do it, hey, go do it.
Yeah, but it just kind of be fun to go out in the Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah. So another thing is of course, as at Wilderness Lodge, is electrical... Was it the electrical?
Electrical water pageant.
Thank you.
And that's a classic Disney World boat parade with, it's basically electrical lights that change into different characters or scenes, and it's just amazing. And to be able to go onto the beach of the Poly and just chill out and watch it at night is really relaxing. And they do that usually right after Happily Ever After, which
watch from
the Poly Beach.
And they do pipe in the music.
So that you can watch Happily Ever After without going to Magic Kingdom. Last time we went with my brother, sister-in-law, and family. They could only go to 3 parks, and because we have Disneyland out here, they decided not to do Magic Kingdom, but they wanted to watch Happily Ever After. So we went to the beach at the Poly and we watched, and it was really just, it was a special night. And then we watched the electrical water pageant, and the kids just loved it.
Yes. So from there, we got to go in more to inside, and then of course,
my favorite topics.
So we have to talk about
shopping.
And the great thing about the Poly is they got 2 different shopping areas.
Yeah, my favorite is boutique. I love boutique. Oh, boutique. Love it, love it. Love boutique. Brad keeps me on a tight rein there.
Yeah, it's a great shop. I love going in there.
They have Polynesian themed items. They have beach themed items. They have Stitch.
They got a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And if you're going to Spirit Aloha, which, was kind of our con, they do have
like the Hawaiian button-down
shirts in there, but some of them are very expensive to wear.
Yeah.
But there are some ones, there are Disney ones, they're actually fairly reasonable.
Yeah, but they also will have some like food and things, treats from Hawaii.
It's just a big gift shop, really.
Yeah, it's amazing. I spend hours in there.
And then the second is the Moana Mercantile.
Yeah, so that's upstairs, and I really enjoy that too. There's a lot more plush, more, of course, Lilo and Stitch items.
I would almost say more towards kids, because you got toys and more candy.
Yeah, but I would say downstairs at Boutique, they have some like the Hawaiian treats, like those chocolate covered macadamia nuts and things like that.
Cakes.
And the cakes from Hawaii and things like that. The more kid Disney friendly is more up at the Moana Mercantile.
And it's great. And there's also stuff there for DVC. Obviously, it's a DVC resort, so they have some food and stuff like that up there as well.
So if you want to cook or get a frozen pizza.
I wouldn't say cook. If you want to get some
frozen
pizzas, microwave meals, and
something to keep in your mini fridge, some bottles of water, drinks, whatever.
Okay.
So it's a nice place. We really overall the shopping is really great, and I'm all into finding out what different resorts have good souvenir shops, because I love shopping.
And now to our favorite part of the Poly. It's absolutely the atmosphere of the Poly.
Oh, you can't beat it. In my opinion, I still love other resorts, but that you get away and it seems like that tropical feeling, Hawaii, Southern Seas kind of idea.
I almost say it's a classic Disney.
It is, because it's so well themed. It's themed through the rooms, it's themed through the lobby, and it's through the walkways with the lighted, the torch lights at night they light up, and it's just gorgeous.
And when you're going back to Captain Cook's, there's actually an area back there that they've had in the past, and hopefully it's still there, of different bits and pieces of Disney history.
Yeah.
Of the little books, records, and whatnot. It's really neat to look at.
Yeah, and it's just overall, after being in the parks, and sometimes it can be really busy and running.
It's extremely relaxing.
Yeah, it's just like taking that deep breath.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, I feel like I kind of have a little tropical vacation going on here while I'm at Disney.
As soon as you go through those front doors with the water going, the fountains going, and you go into the big lobby, it's just absolutely great.
It is. But the Poly lobby has its own scent, which most Disney lobbies do. Mm-hmm. But I really, really love the Poly scent.
Kim went so far as that she got the Magic Candle Company's Polynesian wax melts.
And every time I'm thinking about Disney, I turn that on and just kind of scooch it towards Brad. It's kind of a sign, let's go back to Disney.
Yep. And so now we're going to talk about, obviously we're talking about atmosphere, is they are going to be changing the atmosphere of the Poly a bit. And
Moana's a great movie. This has just been announced the last few days. Polynesian is going to be open for the DVC members to stay, but not to everyday guests on the hotel side.
Yeah.
Because they're retheming to Moana in the guest rooms, not the DVC rooms, and the lobby and some of the common areas.
So we'll see how that works out. I'm hoping they keep a lot of the original Polynesian stuff and just add Moana into it.
I hope they do it organically, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't want to lose that Poly atmosphere that's already there. I just hope it adds a little bit to it.
Yeah, but Moana is truthfully Polynesian. So it has that theming to it already. I just hope that they don't overdo it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that there's such a unique feel there. It was one of the resorts that was open on opening day. So that is my concern about the Moana layover.
And my only other concern is, please keep Lilo and Stitch there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like on 626 Day they've had a Stitch pineapple Dole Whip tree at Pineapple Lanai. They have little Stitch cakes up above at the coffee shop, and there's some Stitch merchandise, and we're obviously big Stitch fans.
626 Ohana, California. Oh yeah, I think that
Right. That might tell you how much we love Stitch, and we don't want to see Stitch moved out. I actually would have preferred to see a Lilo and Stitch layover than a Moana. Actually, that's a good thing. I'm gonna ask you guys to comment below. Would you have rather seen a Lilo and Stitch layover or a Moana layover?
So, with that, the Poly is one of our most favorite resorts. Obviously, we own there, and we stayed at Poly before buying at the Poly, so we knew what we were getting to,
Yes.
and we still bought. We love the Poly.
So we wish they had 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I really think that would ever top.
But again, we stayed there before. We knew the limitations, and we still bought there. That's obviously we love it. So with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up and say goodbye and
Find your magic.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.